I mean, you know, I'd been a number one performer, I'd had a number one office. I mean, they were just handing me out glass trophies all the time. And, you know, I saw the owner, I'll be really honest about this. I saw Brian White, the owner, the chairman of the Ray White Group, who's a lovely man, who I watched him in front of 1,200 people hand out a sea, glass trophies over a sea of 1,200 people. And I looked at Brian White and I felt less than. But then I thought, you know what? I reckon I can do that one day. I reckon I want to be the leader of my own real estate company. I can do this. Like, I can do this. So I left the franchise system. It wasn't anxiety that I had, it was pure adrenaline. I had everyone on the planet, in my mind, watching me to fail. They were queued up, watching us to fail. This will be the world's biggest fucking disaster. Who does he think he is? Who does she think she is? I mean, that's what was going on in my mind. And some of that was true. I mean, people wanted us to fail. People, you know, not everybody, but it just seems that people don't want to see, they want to see people achieve, but not too much better than themselves. So we rolled a dice, and me and Michelle Winkle, we were all in. I mean, so it was adrenaline, and it was an absolute sheer fucking determination to win. It was like when I first started in real estate again, I was gonna win no matter what. I mean, I underestimated seriously how big a deal it was. I had about 30 staff, and it was a tough time because I thought I had all my staff shored up. And what I didn't realise is that some of my staff, and I don't blame them, had done a deal with the franchise group that I was with to leave mine and Michelle's business, which was called Hayes Winkle. And yeah, I had probably 5 staff walk out, key staff. And you know what? They didn't open it up in another suburb or another street. They opened it up next door. All this ego in one place, and it got pretty nasty, to be honest. I mean, it was a little bit like the Gaza Strip at one point there. We did end up in court a number of times, and you know, it was tough. Those first couple of years was really, really hard. Divorced, you know, trying to start a new business. You know, I got sued at that time. All this stuff was happening, and I just had to keep moving forward.
Oh, that was a horrible time. Am I allowed to talk about that? Because that was bad. That was really bad. He went through a lot of pain. And sometimes I think, gee, I don't know how we survived that. 'Cause he really did go through a lot of pain, and he was hurting a lot. So I knew that he was hurting, and I knew that he was in pain. But there were times where I just remember thinking, I had to pick him up a lot. And I used to say, if we could just get through one day at a time, let's just get through today and worry about tomorrow.
I met her at an AA meeting. Sorry. I met her at an AA meeting. Yep. And yep. Yeah, we were we really hit it off. And yeah, we were both young and we were attracted to each other. And yeah, I remember her sponsor at the time saying, "Stay clear of that Danny Hayes. He's a bad guy. He'll drag you down." And you know, yeah, we were inseparable for a lot of years.
It was such a crazy time. It is so hard to be present with your children and to be there when I think the backgrounds that Danny and I have had, both having nothing and probably looking like the only way we were ever going to get anything. You normally think you need a university degree or you need a doctorate or to really, really get ahead. And I think I fell for it as well. When you start to make a lot of money and you can start to make a lot of money really quickly, you can get addicted to that. And if we've both got addictive personalities, I can see how Danny thought, well, I'm making money, I'm providing for my family, and it becomes addictive and you go for that drive and you can't actually see clearly what you're doing to your family.
I mean, and it was a crazy, crazy time. I mean, to leave a big franchise group and to go independent. You know, Dad, we go to a private school, we have all these cars, we have all these things. And he said, what are you going to work for? You're always at work. He said, what are you going to work for now? Why are you working now? Why do you have to go to work for now? And I remember saying to him, and I remember looking at him, and I couldn't answer him. I couldn't answer, because I didn't even know. I didn't even know I was working anymore. It was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy time. And a time filled with pain, a lot of pain.
And you start to get very mixed up and start to put vendors, auctions, people, clients before you actually put your family. You don't realise you're doing it sometimes until you're right in the thick of it, and then it's too late.
And I know this sounds dramatic, but I mean this. Until you're prepared to die for what you believe in, until you're prepared to, you know, and that's how I felt. I felt you'll have to kill me to stop me. Until you have that mentality, it's not then, that's when you find out who you are. And I had that.
It's happened to me as well, so I can see how it can happen.
And, you know, there was just lots of gossip and lots of innuendo about our office, but me and Michelle, we rose above it.
And I know there were a few times there where he said, this isn't going to work, we should just sell out and go franchise. And I was like, no, we can't do that. You know, I've invested all this money in this and we've made this decision to leap into it. We can't turn around and go backwards. We followed that dream to say, if it never ever worked, at least we gave it our best shot trying. But we couldn't have quit then because we still hadn't really given it the best shot. So it was a really tough time. And then the lawsuit started, and then I fell pregnant. So, oh my goodness, I look back and I think, how did I even get through that pregnancy? There was a lot of stuff going on, staff leaving. But I think the way we got through it was one day at a time, the fog started to lift. And Danny would have good days and he'd have bad days. Sometimes on his bad days, I think just leave him alone, see him again on his good days. But we were always there for him, and I think the core staff were there for him and they're still there today. I was addicted because we were making money, and you could see that the money was coming in and the listings were coming in, and I could see that, oh my goodness, if I keep going through this, I'm actually going to make a life for my children. I could see that Danny was becoming successful, and I thought if I keep doing what he's doing, I too am going to have a successful life. And being a single mum with 2 young kids when I started, when I had my second daughter, I had people say to me, you will never become successful now. Like, this is it, you've ruined any chance of success. How are you going to provide for your children? How is that going to work? And I remember saying, I just know that if I do the right thing and have this child, I just know that I'll be looked after and things will fall into place. So I guess for me, when I got a sniff of real estate and I could start to see that I actually did have this gift and I could do it, and I was pushing through my fears, and I was starting to be trusted, and people were giving me their houses to sell, which was a huge responsibility. And I had some amazing results, which meant people liked me, which was addictive as well. And I could see that I could change my kids' future. So it's incredibly hard to actually stop that roll on. Yeah, Danny Hayes is an awesome man. Yeah, no, Daniel's, I think people, you know, there's a lot of people out there, just a lot of people aren't bold enough to be who they are or to speak their truth and not care about what people think about them. And I think the great thing is Daniel steps out and does what he wants to do and has really broken that stigma of it doesn't matter what people think about you. And I can remember one of the first things he ever said to me when I started getting really paranoid in real estate, and all these people were they started saying really bad things about me, and I'm paranoid about what people think, so that was a huge thing for me. And I remember Danny saying, they're not going to be talking about you if you're not successful, so wear it as a badge of honour.
What I am is, what I've learnt to do is just be me. Like, I feel that I really operate from the core of my being. And some days that's good and some days that's really bad. But I get to be me.
What Daniel and I have pretty much gone, you know what, stuff it, we're just going to do it and we're going to be who we are, and if they don't like it, bad luck.